So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I was considering putting theories on a small hiatus until we got Dragon's Rising Season 3. And well, when I'm looking in my comment section and I see someone from the admin of the Ninjago wiki, I can't help but decide to want to make another theories video. So in honor of, and I hope I'm not butchering this, Trainer Ken, it is time for me to re-explore Ninjago theories, and more specifically, your ones. So yes, let's get into it, and well, let's do what I usually do. Ninjago is a show that has a large span of different ideas and facts when it comes to the show, and well, when we see all these factual things happen, it always causes a theory to be born, and some of them are really fascinating and some of them aren't, but that is the joy of Ninjago theories. But those ones that are fairly interesting and give a very interesting what if to the show is exactly what I love to see. And well, Yanan's not the first Ninjitsu master, but maybe someone else actually is. But yes, in similar vein to my hot takes videos and the other ones I make in this kind of style, which if you haven't checked out, please do, this is going to be part 6 to Ninjago theories, and this time round, they are completely taken from you guys. So, if you have any Ninjago theories, please leave them in the comments, and I may do another one very soon. But without further ado, let's get into some Ninjago theories. The first one is going to be coming from Joe McMoney. Hello, my friend. And your theory is that in Season 2, the Mega Weapon, as well as the past versions of the Golden Weapons, are sent up into space. And this becomes important in Season 3 when the Overlord brings the materials back to Earth to make the golden armor. Flash forward into Season 10 and Kai melts them down and crafts it into the golden weapons again. The problem is that there were 2 sets of the weapons that were sent into space. So I propose the golden soup theory. And this theory basically is just that there's a vat of golden liquid just sitting there in the monastery. I have no real evidence, but I find it funny, so I believe it. And you know what? I do too, but I don't think the golden soup is still in the monastery. I think it may have went somewhere else. So, I like this theory, because by all accounts, technically yes, there should be 2 sets of golden weapons in that big bowl that they brought back to Ninjago. And, well, it had to go somewhere. So, obviously they made the golden weapons, and the golden weapons were actually technically smaller, so there should have been some extra remaining gold at the very least, so what actually happened to it? Well, I would like to think that the Season 11 onwards, the weapons that the ninja use are actually aspects of the golden weapons. And similar to Joe McMoney, what do I have for basis? Nothing. It's just the fact that these weapons are gold, and they seem to be able to channel elemental power through them, but that is down to you. But I would like to think that when they reconstructed the weapons, you are correct. They may have had more gold left than they actually needed. And, well, you may as well make them into more weapons. So that is where they got these new golden weapons from, and why they stopped using the ones that they had in the Oni trilogy. But that's my little expansion on your theory. Let me know what you guys think of it. But I really like this one. So thank you, Joe McMoney. Theory number 2 is going to be coming from Zepon6745. Hello, my friend. And your theory is that you think Ronan was hired to obtain the pink G for Chen. He captured Zane and Pixel for Chen between Season 3 and 4. Honestly, yeah. I will say, in regard to this, I do feel like for the most part, this is probably the only explanation, but not in a way of it being silly, if you know what I mean. It's one of those things where it's not really established how Ronan would have gotten it, because Ronan would have had to have been on the bounty, which I think was in the air during that episode. So even if he flew Rex up, it's one of those instances where you'd probably still end up with a situation where the ninja would notice a massive helicopter. But it's just one of those things where it's like, it makes sense, because Chen and Klaus wouldn't have been able to leave the island, and I don't think any of the cultists would have been smart enough to have done it. So it kind of makes sense that it was Ronan, but overall, yeah, I do agree with this. I think Chen basically hired Ronan until Season 4, and Ronan just basically took all the cash, because we all know Chen was secretly minted because he had his noodle house. But yeah, I like this one. Thank you, Zepon. Theory number 3, and technically 4, does actually come from Super Ben Boy 5886. Hello, my friend. And your two theories, well, your first one is, I always thought that the part of the material of Zane's power source included pieces of the future reflecting ice/glass we see near the first Spinjitzu Master's tomb in possession, and that would be a pretty good explanation as to why Zane occasionally has dreams that predict the future. Honestly, I really like that. This is one of those things that kind of just makes sense because we know for a fact that Zane has had future reflections, especially in the earlier seasons. I always think of the main one where it shows off the green ninja, but technically at the same time that has a couple of inaccuracies because we see Fire Eyes, we see Lloyd with the Falcon, we see him with the nunchucks of lightning. It's a lot of interesting things, honestly, but I really like this idea that a part of it, at the very least, was that same type of glass. It would be a really cool way to reconnect things into each other because we know the first Spinjitzu Master likes to do stuff like that. So, I really like this one. I really do. And your second one, speaking of future reflections, I have a prediction that Jay will lose his left eye sometimes later in Dragon's Rising, as foreshadowed in Possession and Skybound. I do believe that there will be a way for the effects of soul shattering to be reversed to an extent, and it would make more sense for in doing something of this magnitude to require sacrifices. Again, fair, I really do like these. This is definitely one of those ones where, again, I really like the idea of, again, consequences to actions, because, well, if Jay has officially shattered its soul, he unfortunately does need to find a way to get back if he does want to become Jay again. But the thing is that this is just a really good way of explaining how both he gets the eye patch and also he becomes good again, because we know that those reflections are still canon. It was recently actually confirmed that they were. So it's one of those instances where this actually is a really good way on explaining in a way something like that. So I'm fully with you. I really do. I really do like this. And by the looks of the replies, people really did like this one as well. So thank you, Super Ben Boy. I really like these two theories. And the last theory I'm going to be going over for today is from the first Cade Star. Hello, my friend. And your theory is the Time Twins changed what happened in Skybound so that the event actually happened. Jay's last wish was probably altered to something like, I wish for your last act would be to save Nia. The evidence is that they have a perfect depiction of Narukon, while only 2 people who have actually seen him didn't draw the painting on the monastery wall. And I see where you're coming from, but I have a counter. On the one hand, I do think to an extent all of the ninja are aware of Skybound. I think at the very least, Jay and Nia would have had to have explained it to the other ninja, because there's way too many instances of the ninja knowing. But at the same time, if you do look at that scene in Season 10 where Kai is looking at the depiction of Narukon, he very clearly doesn't know who it is. And we even see in Season 8, again, they seem fairly confused by it. Every single time Narukon is referenced, there seems to be an air of, I don't know who it is. So it's one of those instances where I do think, to an extent, the ninja are aware of Narukon in Season 6, but not entirely, mostly just through Jay and Nia explaining what happened. I will say as well then, in relation to no one's actually seen Narukon, but there's a perfect depiction of him, I will say, we do know for a fact that Zane is able to reconstruct memory, especially ones that he wasn't actually there for, and also was able to alter them. So I do think to an extent you can explain away the existence of Narukon. Zane was probably able to make a reconstruction of who he is based on the fact that Jay and Nia knew who he was. Also, remember that in Season 6, we do see Narukon ask the Cyrus Borg AI who Narukon was, who his crew was. There is a depiction of Narukon. He does exist in the world. We just didn't see him technically because Season 6 was erased. So it's one of those things where it makes sense. Narukon can still exist while Season 6 not happening, but also I do like the idea that the ninja are more aware of Season 6, or just know that it happened at the very least. But I just think it's one of those things where they haven't covered it, and I just don't think they ever will. But I do actually really like this theory, so thank you, Cade Star. But those are all the theories that I'm going to cover for today, and let me know which ones you do agree with, which ones you disagree with, and if you have any theories of your own. And if you do, I will definitely include them in the next video. But that is about it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care. Okay, bye.